Are you ready? Can Crushers. It don't really get no better than this the podcast that you're looking for if you're really heavy into wrestling. Hosted by the Mark. Energy that's so amazing. Gotta keep it entertaining. Rep the Can Crusher Nation. Yeah, you know what's going down in the ring. Lights out when you hit a ding ding. Knock 'em out like boom bada bing. Hold it down, you can crown me the king. Gotta shout out to the Miz and Duke the Dumpster. We choke slamming everybody, power driving, hit 'em with a face buster. Yeah, this the show you need and it ain't no need for waiting. Mark, hold it down for the Can Crusher Nation. All about wrestling and keep it entertaining. Can Crushers Wrestling Podcast. Time to break 'em, let's go. Yeah, Can Crushers. Yeah, Can Crushers. Let's go.
Hi everyone, this is Ringside Rain and you're listening to Can Crushers Podcast. And now, here is your host, Mark the Mark Martinez.
Thank you, Ringside Rain, for that wonderful introduction. I am your host, Mark the Mark Martinez, and welcome back to another Can Crushers Podcast, the Spotlight Edition, the last ever Spotlight Edition in 2023. Yeah, don't worry, folks. We have plenty of them booked for the following year. January is already filled up. Have people asking for others down the line because of this, because of that. Super excited for 2024. Hope everybody had a wonderful Christmas and looking into this next weekend, an amazing New Year's. Don't forget, this Saturday, me, Sir Michael Jenks, we will be handing out the Crushie Awards. Stay tuned for that. But let's get onto the spotlight. Billie the Kiid from Oklahoma coming on the show to talk wrestling, how he got involved wrestling, and so much more. Listen, this is a great episode. Clearly pre-recorded, holiday season, this, that, and the other thing. So I do know a little bit what happened, but it's an amazing episode. Stick and stay. Guys, again, Crushies this weekend. Get your votes in. You still have time. DM us on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. X, whatever it's called. Drop us an email, cancrusher69@gmail.com. Or, if you'd love to have your voice heard on Can Crushers, the Crushie Awards, one of the biggest episodes of the year, 814-299-6687. Go to Facebook. The categories are all there. You have 3 minutes. Let your voice be heard. Also, collar and elbow. Hats, hoodies, tees, all the cool stuff that Al Snow and the Hooligans have. We have a promo code. It's Can Crushers. It'll save you 10%. Use it. Buy stuff. Love stuff. Collar and elbow. Amazing. Also, I know. People are like, well, Mark, why are you doing so many alsos? You're so awkward right now. I'm in that kind of mood. We have a WWE affiliate code. It is linked in the show notes. We're very transparent with that. Sometimes you'll get a discount, sometimes you won't. You'll always support the show, but we don't know where it is. If it's a brand new thing, 9 out of 10, you're not going to get a discount. If it's a little bit older, you're going to get a discount. But don't hold me to that, okay? What else do we have to talk about? Oh, nothing. Let's just get to the show. Billie the Kiid's on the line right after this from Al Snow.
Wrestling. A love and a passion we all share. I've started a wrestling brand. The wrestling brand. A brand founded on the aspects of wrestling. Two entities working together to create a product that connect emotionally for people everywhere. Collar and Elbow is the brand. Passion and love for wrestling is the drive. I am Al Snow, and this is Collar and Elbow, the wrestling brand.
Hey, this is the Cardinal Nick Thompson. I loved being on the Can Crushers Wrestling Podcast, and I hope you guys loved listening to me. If you want to listen more, keep listening for future episodes.
Welcome back to Can Crushers, guys. You heard in my intro how excited I am to have my guest on, and I'm going in blind. I really am, but I'm still excited because, listen, that's the meat and potatoes of the show, that we love learning about independent wrestlers. We know the stories about Randy Orton and this and that. We love the support indie wrestling here on Can Crusher. So my guest is waiting on the phone, ready to come in, probably lay some smack into me. Welcome to the show, Billie The Kiid. How are you doing?
Oh, what's good, man? I'm glad to be here. Glad to be here at Can Crushers.
I am so excited. So, listen, everybody knows we're pre-recording. That's okay. But how's everything going with the holidays? Are you done shopping? Are you bad like me that you didn't even start yet?
So I'm about 85% done with shopping.
I am so jealous of you people, and it's my fault all the time. Like, I forget Christmas, and I'm lying, is coming, and I'm like, oh man, I only have 2 people to buy for in my life, my son and my wife, because my wife does all the other family stuff. But I'm like, I'll get to it, and then a podcast comes up or work comes up, and I'm like, yeah, I should probably go shopping on the 24th. So that's what I'm doing. I'm a horrible human being, Billy. I really am. We can just call an ace, right?
Yeah.
Thanks a lot. You're already on the level of so many other people. So we're back in Oklahoma once again. Listen, I love talking to everybody from Oklahoma. It's so cool because at one point I want to get out there to see you all and see kind of the different aspects from wrestling, because it changes from Pennsylvania to Oklahoma. You know, wrestling is wrestling, but there's different styles across. Don't you agree?
Oh yeah, for sure. Definitely.
Okay, so let's get into the real why you're here. The whole spotlight around you. Tell me how you found professional wrestling you're still a kid, right? You're still a little kid, but how did you find it as a youngster? Was it mom, dad, Uncle Joe, Aunt Sally? How did you find wrestling?
Okay, it's crazy, but it goes all the way back to where I'm a little over 2 years old, about to turn 3. I'll never forget my dad. So my dad was watching it when I was little bitty. I'll never forget. I was 2 years old. We're sitting in the living room watching Monday Night Raw, and Mankind and The Rock are fighting for the belt, and Stone Cold comes out of nowhere, just shows up in the ring, hits The Rock with a chair, and then just leaves, and Mankind wins the title.
So it was the night that WCW announced that there's going to be a title change and everybody switched over. That's your first recollection of wrestling.
Yes.
That's teens for me, but that's unbelievable that somebody, and I'm not knocking you, that's their first thing. So to be encapsulated with that, and it's so young, let's say 3, so we'll round up to 3, that you engulfed it at that age. That's a hell of a moment to find wrestling. Was Dad a fan prior, though?
I believe so. He was a big fan of, 80s, 90s. So Attitude Era, I would say. It's when it was really good.
Yeah. So clearly you kind of transitioned to liking Rock and maybe Mankind because that's your first thing. But who's some of your other favorites that you, once you watched a little bit, that you really trickled to?
Let's see. As a kid, I was a huge fan of The Rock as a kid. Well, still am to this day. I lean more towards Stone Cold because, they had a feud going on, so I wasn't a fan of Stone Cold as a kid. And then I enjoyed Shawn Michaels as he came back around, I would have say 2002. I know after 14, he kind of disappeared for a second.
Yeah, he lost his smile, right?
Yeah, for sure, yeah. I really loved the Dudley Boys. That was my favorite tag team when I was growing up. Just the adrenaline of him yelling at Devon to get the table. I really loved the tables with those guys. And then the Hardys, I loved how, Jeff Hardy had no fear of jumping off anything.
Still doesn't.
Oh yeah. Still, I actually saw them last night. I went to AEW last night.
Oh, nice. Don't ruin it because I have not watched it yet because Garbage Men go to bed rather early. So that's something. Let's stick and stay to that real quick. Everybody else listening to this has already watched it, and I have essentially by the time this has come out. Was it your first AEW show?
It was.
How did you like it? Did you hate it? Were you indifferent? Because it is different from a WWE show if you've never been.
Oh yeah, for sure. So I don't really watch AEW faithfully on TV. I kind of just keep up with their little stuff on like Twitter or X as we call it now.
Right.
But it was a lot different, and I did not expect to see the Hardy Boys. So like when I heard their music going off, I was lit.
You mark out a little bit. You're in the business now, so you're not supposed to be marking out over people, but you did, didn't you?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
That's all right. I still do. Listen, this is no knock. Anytime I meet any wrestler, especially the one that's been, on the show that I've never met in person, I'm like, oh my God, thank you for coming on the show. And they're like, okay, we've talked for hours before, you weirdo. Settle down. So yeah, I'm duly named. My mom knew I was going to be a Mark when I was born. Dudley's. Let's stick and stay there for a minute. Did you go back and watch some of their real ECW stuff?
Oh, yes. So I want to say, I watched wrestling faithfully until I want to say about freshman year. I think I stopped watching Monday Night Raw and SmackDown faithfully. I think when Shawn Michaels lost to The Undertaker. When he retired. I think that's when I stopped watching it every Monday, and I only stuck to pay-per-views after that.
Are you still just on pay-per-views?
Yes and no. It all depends on what they announce for the show. I think I got right back into it heavy when The Undertaker came out with his Dead Man Tales, and he was showing all his history, and then so I was like, you know what? Let me go all the way back. So I own Peacock, and for starters, I went back and watched. I wanted to see how The Rock progressed. I was like, I was young, so I really don't remember half the stuff. So I started all the way from Survivor Series when he debuted, and I watched literally every Monday Night Raw and pay-per-view from 1996 all the way through 2001 to where he fought Stone Cold at WrestleMania 17, just to get the whole layout.
Was this over a weekend, or did you expand it over a couple of weeks or months or something? Because that's crazy. That's a lot.
Yeah, it was months. It probably took a little over 7 months to watch everything.
That's unbelievable. But that history, the story that starts, them just crossing paths until everything blows off. That's storytelling that you don't see a lot of right now in wrestling in general because it's so long.
Oh yeah, it was great. I watched some ECW, and I love the ECW environment. I wish it was still that way. I love their interactions with the wrestlers. I love the crowd, and I just recently watched an old ECW where Terry Funk and Cactus Jack were fighting, and they literally just started launching chairs in the ring.
Yep. Little show note. If you watch December to Remember 1997, you will see me at about the 35-minute mark because it was dubbed Pittsburgh, but it was like Monaca, a little town off of Pittsburgh, the Golden Dome, in the second row throwing up the triple threat sign for Shane Douglas. Just blatantly on TV. That was my first ECW event ever. Unbelievable. I watched them on TV, but yeah, and it's on Peacock. Not that you have to go and watch it, but I know there's a million of other fans listening that are like, oh my God, Mark's on TV and we don't watch. No, they're kidding. So growing up, how was growing up, dad and sports and everything? Like, because everything you do, you knew that you were going to be a wrestler at the age of 3, right? You're going to tell me that, right?
I always did want to be one,
Yeah.
but when I was about 20 years old, I looked up. So how do you become a professional wrestler? And the only like schools that would pop up were in Texas. So I was just like, man, I'm like, people are just blessed that they live in that state. I could not find anything in Oklahoma. The only thing I could find was like amateur wrestling schools.
So
So
where do you, again, like I said, I don't know squadouche. Where do you end up going for training?
so I went, my cousin told me about Core in Sand Springs. So I've been training there for the last year.
And it was like the first one, besides the ones in Texas and everything, it's the first one that you found. And, your cousin kind of a little bit of an in. We're not going to release that. But, yeah, a little bit of an in there, right?
Oh, yeah.
By the way, your cousin will be back on the show again soon. And we'll get to that sometime, maybe down the line. So let's talk about your first couple times in training. You're doing it. Did you ever think, oh man, this is more than I thought, or anything like that?
Yeah. So before I went to Core, 2 months prior to that, I went with my cousin to train at NCWO a couple of times, and he was showing me some moves, and we started off with rolls. I did my first roll and literally was so dizzy I like fell. I was like, bruh, it's like that. And so now the bumps and stuff I was kind of already like, prepared for. My friends tell me all the time now. They're like, man, back in the day when we were wrestling on the trampoline, you're like, you were always the one that was selling so good. We thought you were really hurt. So like I was already prepared for those. It was the other stuff like the rolls and all that. I'm like, man, this is kind of hard.
Before we get, because I love the trampoline, I need to hear more stories about that, because that's the way that we all start wrestling essentially. But how was, and I love this one, how was hitting the ropes for the first time?
Oh my God. Like he's like, we're going to run the ropes, and we run it like 10 times, and I've never been so exhausted. I'm like, and then my cousin's like, all right, let's do some other drills. I'm like, bro, come on, bro. Like, let me get like 10 minutes to breathe.
Yep. I talk to a lot of fans, they either call in on the podcast or I see them out and about at wrestling events. They're like, you really put over hitting the ropes that it's hard. And I'm like, you don't understand. Like, listen, I'm not trained, but I've done things in wrestling, and one has been doing the ropes. And I tell them, guys, you don't understand. Me as a mark, I thought the same thing. That's why I always like getting the point across when I talk to you guys that you guys hit the ropes more than I do in one match I have in my life. That it's crazy painful if you hit them the wrong way. And people are like, no, it's not. Yeah, it is.
Oh yeah, like the older guys, they'll like, use their ribs. I'm like, yeah, no, not happening.
What was the hardest thing for you to kind of catch on in training? Was it, you said the bumps were okay because it's trampoline. We talked about the ropes. How was psychology, essentially?
Yeah, that was one thing I was struggling with. I'm still a little bit learning a little bit. My coaches tell me, they're like, you just need to be in the moment. They tell me I need to be in that moment and not worry about what's next. And that's the kind of issue I've been having. So Brian Breakers taught me some things, and every time he comes in coach's class, he'll be like, what do you guys want to work on today? I first thing out of my mouth, calling in the ring.
Yep. That's the story within itself. Right? Because, there's a story in every match, but between you and your opponent or opponents, depending in tag team matches, whatever, if you're not calling it because of what the fans are giving you reaction-wise or whatever, you could blow the story instantly, right?
Yeah.
Psychology is unbelievable. People that did like Savage and Flair and Steamboats that they just knew it was so repetitive to them. It still boggles my mind that they knew the start and the finish, and the other sometimes 45 minutes was just repeat, but they would spin it a different way that it would look like different matches, right?
Yep.
And that's where I know you, along with a lot of other indie guys, kind of want to be, but it takes a lot of familiarity with whoever you're working with.
Yeah, for sure.
So let's talk about that. Oh, let's go back because I forgot about the trampoline stuff. So do you want to say that you backyard wrestled, or are we just talking kids on a trampoline messing around?
So no, like my best friend, you know, we all lived in the neighborhood together. So we all used to meet at his house. He had the only trampoline, and we would literally run like our own pay-per-views and stuff. One time we had a WrestleMania and like we all had matches laid out. He had like a little big radio on his porch, so we all made entrances and ran out to the trampoline. It was pretty good. We even had a ladder match back there. He had a shed, and we'd put the ladder on the shed and climb up and get the belt.
No way. Did you take a air quotes bump off the shed onto the trampoline?
Always. I was jumping off the shed. I was doing everything.
Unbelievable. Did you know the history? Because when you said you went to AEW, you kind of marked out about the Hardys. Did you know the history then when you were backyard wrestling about the Hardys and everything they've done with their Omega organization?
Oh, not back then. I had no clue.
But so you guys were essentially doing the same thing though, just not knowing.
Yeah.
That's crazy. See, we never went that far. We would have like, listen, to where I am, there's not a lot of people that are that crazy as me and you are about professional wrestling. It was just like me and my buddy and maybe like two other people. So to put a whole event on, we couldn't do that. So it was just like me and my buddy rolling around doing, okay, you're going to win this one, I'm going to lose. And, you know, it would be once every other week. And it was just like his mom's pizzeria or in my living room, and he would destroy. Literally, my mother loves him but still hates him to this day. Rest her soul. He broke like 3 or 4 recliners because he would powerbomb me on them. And I'm an idiot that I would let him do it the whole time. So, you know, hate me too, right?
Yeah.
So let's talk about that first match. I want to know how are you feeling the day of first match and the jitters, and did you get sick? Because these are great stories usually, but then you go through that curtain and you're fine, right?
Yes, I can't describe the feeling. Johnny Cove was like, this is around like my third match, and Johnny Cove was like, so how are you feeling, man? You still getting nervous? I'm like, I mean, I'm always gonna be nervous, but when I instantly walk through that curtain, it goes away and I forget.
Yeah, that curtain really is magical. As a commentator or ring announcer or anything like that, I still get the jitters. It's because you want to put on the best show for the fans that night, yada, yada, yada. And I'm not skipping over that, but we all say that enough. That you want to do your best and you want to show. But as soon as you go through that curtain, you're like, I got this. Why was I worried about anything?
It's like an instant like transformation. I can't explain it.
Yeah, it really is. So talk about your first match. I have not seen it. Will you go back and watch it? Have you gone back and watched it? Does it give you pains to watch it?
No, I actually really enjoyed my first match. I was put up against Giganto.
Okay.
So my entrance, I pitched to my promoters. I pitched the entrance, and like, so what do you do for an entrance? I'm like, well, what if I was talking to my cousin on a car ride one time? I said, man, what if I don't have entrance music? He's like, what do you mean? I said, what if I carry out a big speaker box on my shoulder with my own entrance music playing? And they're like, what? I'm like, yeah, like who does that? Nobody does that.
Right.
And so that's what so my first ever entrance, well, I still do it. I came out and my music is playing and I'm carrying it on my shoulders. And
that's the clip that I did see, and I love
Oh.
it. I absolutely love it because you said you don't see it anymore. It was done, I believe, one time. And this is where I'm going to ask you, who is Billie the Kiid? Okay? I have 3 wrestlers. One we have mentioned a ton, and I've seen it. I see the Rock in you, just because some mannerisms in the face when you're in the ring. And this is all over maybe like 5 minutes of clips that I searched real quick. I see some Rock with some movements. When I saw you, and you sent me the picture that is on our logo this week with the speaker box, I instantly went to Public Enemy, the tag team from WCW, and because they came out like that like a couple times, and I thought it was brilliant. And then the third one, I'm like, I couldn't pinpoint a third one, but then I thought, okay. And you're going to be like, what? I gave you Ron Simmons because you're also like tough in the ring. And this is, you're going to like, Mark, of course I'm tough in the ring. But you have that damn moment every match that, the clips that I saw. So I'm like, how close am I? Tell me I'm horribly off or I'm okay.
Yeah, that pretty much is pretty good. I do a little, you can tell kind of in my moveset, I'm a huge fan of like ECW because I do the Rolling Thunder.
Right.
My finisher is the Acid Drop by Spike Dudley. So I would say, yeah, it's pretty spot on. I've been trying to, I mainly want to focus my moves on like, late 90s wrestling.
How far back in your tape studies will you go? Have you went back and watched maybe 70s Tully Blanchard or even farther back in, some Gotch wrestling even?
I would say the farthest I really go is probably maybe late 80s. As far as like late 80s, early 90s, I'm a fan of Sting.
Your Surfer Sting? Please tell me your Surfer Sting over Crow Sting.
Oh, yeah, I like Surfer Sting.
Thank you. I don't get many people. People forget, and I don't know if they really forget, if they just put it out of their mind, that Sting was. So he's amazing in general, but was so amazing as a youngster in the business as Surfer Sting. That was when his first big thing with Flair. I kind of lost a little bit. I'm not a big fan of the Crow. The everything. Well, now he's a different Sting even on AEW, but when he was like a complete Crow in like NWO era, I'm like, I didn't like him too much.
Yeah, man.
So let's talk about you. Take a minute away from wrestling then, and let's talk about you in general. You get time off that you're not going to the gym, you're not doing some training, you're not doing wrestling stuff, which I know is few and far between, but you get a complete dead day. What's some of the stuff that you like to nerd out about?
Let's see. I'm usually I'm a Twitch streamer.
I did not know that. What games?
All day Mortal Kombat.
Really?
Heavy.
Wow.
That's my games.
When you give your socials and everything at the end, make sure you give out your Twitch, because I will instantly go on there and watch some Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, don't judge me now. I get super disrespectful on there against spammers.
No, I don't. Good. You should, because we don't need spammers in this world. We don't. Is that the only thing that you're playing is Mortal Kombat on there?
No, obviously some Warzone.
Okay. Nice.
But as far as like streaming goes, the only thing that gets streamed is probably just Warzone and Mortal Kombat.
When you're not streaming, is there other games that you like to enjoy?
Oh yeah. Every now and then I'll hit some Rocket League. Not very good, but I'll hit some of it. Play a little bit of Smite every now and then. I used to be a huge Smite fan a couple of years ago and just got back into it a little bit.
I have get ready to laugh at me. One, a couple wrestlers around this area have a Fortnite party page or whatever. I mean, listen, I've downloaded Fortnite for the first time at the age of 46, and I'm going to be, actually after recording this, we're getting on tonight and we're going to play Fortnite. And it's just, I know it's not my game because, listen, I don't have the skills anymore, I'll put it that way, of how quick you have to be. But I'll get on and I'll get blasted away a few times. But it's more about the chat. You know what I've been playing recently? Get ready to laugh at me. Power Wash Simulator. I freaking love that. I don't know why. It is so... Listen, I do that in my normal job after garbage. Like, we power wash stuff, yada, yada, yada. I hate it at work. Come home, it is a mindless game. It is... Listen, you want to take time off, but you're still doing something? Power Wash Simulator is where it's at. It's so stupid, Billy. It's so stupid, but I love it.
Okay.
Yeah, you're laughing at me really hard on the inside. I know. So besides video games, what else are you into? I imagine, like, I picture you, with the music and everything, you have to be big into music, or, you're going to tell me, like, you're also upcoming artist or something as well, right?
I actually did try to do music in my early 20s, but I mainly just love the music, if I could have a talent, it'd honestly just be make beats, because that's honestly what draws me, really, is the beats. Because sometimes I'll just when I'm like traveling to training, sometimes I listen to literally instrumentals.
Really?
I love the sound of beats. Yeah.
That's fascinating. And I respect that, because I get it. There's times, well, everybody that's ever listened to this knows that my music is anywhere from show tunes to Britney Spears to Korn and Godsmack. So it's everywhere. I've never been an instrumental fan, but I didn't look at it the way that you're looking at it, just to listen to the beats. And just, I always figure it's elevator music, essentially, right?
Yeah.
But you're looking at it a different way. Is there something that you really get encapsulated with besides the beats? Like, is there one person that you're like, okay, or is it just anybody that puts beats together?
Certain styles of beats. So like my favorite artist, heavy is, Wiz Khalifa. I just like how his beats are versatile, so he doesn't stick to one little genre. And then I like the way Wheezy out of here. I love his beats. It's just a simple clap and it's got nice bass. So sometimes, like, I'll just look up some really hit songs and I'll just only listen to the instrumental. Nice.
That's gonna, when we get to stupid questions here in a minute, that's actually gonna go hand in hand with what I'm gonna ask you. So what else? Tell me more about yourself. What do you do day off? Do you have a dog? Do you hang out? Because people really want to get, this is where we get to find out you. We know you in the ring, but, without breaking a ton of kayfabe, which, whatever, you believe if it's dead or not. Why should people transition to you and love you? Have you saved an otter in the last couple days or something?
No. So day to day, so I'm in the marijuana industry. So,
damn, you're the back-to-back weeks we have weed brought up on here. So you're a dispensary guy?
Oh, yep, working a dispensary.
Nice. So it's legal. It's not legal in Pennsylvania yet, so it's legal in Oklahoma. See, this is how much I know about any of that. Oh, yeah. So are you the one? Now you got me intrigued because I don't know anything about this, and I want to go. Are you the guy that just sells? And listen, he's not a drug dealer. All right, before anybody fucking comes with that, he's not a drug dealer. He works in a dispensary. Are you guys are you making the flavors? Or tell me about this a little bit?
Okay, so we mainly it's kind of like a big really nice like pharmacy. We have all the products in there. We have a section that's just pre-rolls. Then we have our flower area. Then we got edibles, and then we have cartridges. Usually I'll get patients come in. They'll tell me, I'm like, what's your prefer a way to medicate. They'll tell me, I only do edibles. I need something for pain. I'm like, all right, well, step this way. I got you. So I usually ask their dosage. I'm like, so this is like your first time. I suggest you taking these little tins, and if you still feel kind of scary about it, cut them in half and let me know how you feel about it. I'll tell them if you need something for sleep, look for anything with CBN in it. So that's mainly for sleep. If you're looking for pain, I got these 1-in-1s with CBD and THC in it, which is really good for pain.
I now that I have your number, I need you in my back pocket. Granted, having a CDL, we cannot. One, it's still not legal in Pennsylvania unless you have a medical card. Yada yada yada. But I can't get a medical card because I have a CDL and all that legal hoopla. But listen, I'm a big supporter of it for everything that it does for people. I know people all over the United States that are like, listen, this should have happened for the longest time. Because as a professional, we'll put it that way, do you see people, can you see the transition in people that you sell to for the first time and the second time, that their life has changed from pain and everything? Because that's where I want it.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I have one lady came in. She had really bad pain in her hand, and we have this cream that has THC in it and CBD in it. So I said, we had a little sample. I said, before you purchase this, I was like, here, try this sample first and let me know how you feel tomorrow. And the next day she comes back and she was like, I loved it. And she bought literally like four containers of it.
Stocking up.
Yeah.
Nice. All right, we'll get back to wrestling. But now that I know that, if I ever have any questions, be prepared. You're either getting a text or something. They're like, hey, listen, can you ship it? No, I'm kidding. Before anybody says, oh, Mark's on drugs now in and around the area, no, we're good. All right. If you weren't doing professional wrestling and a drug, I'm kidding, doing your shoot job, in that, you kind of gave it to me already, but what else would you be doing if you weren't going to do wrestling?
Let's see. If I could pick a profession, it would probably, I would love to get paid to stream. That'd be nice.
No doubt. Trust me. Tell me about it.
That'd be really awesome. So I'd probably say I'd love to, stream on Twitch and make money like Ninja, Dr. Disrespect, and all them.
Yeah. Yeah, mine's Adam Cole, actually, who just makes money hand over feet. He never has to return to wrestling again. He could just play video games with Brit in the background, and he makes tons of money. So, yeah, I get it. What TV show, and do not say Raw or Dynamite, anything related to wrestling, if you could star in a TV show, what would your TV show? By the way, these are stupid questions, by the way. What TV show would you be the star of?
Well, I'm going to have to say probably The Walking Dead.
I get it. All right. Yeah. Transition right into everything else. So big fan of movies like that and TV shows like that then?
Oh, so I am a big movie watcher. That's kind of where I put my character in. Brian Breaker's actually kind of helped and guided me to that, of how I introduced my character. I'm a huge fan of movies. And there's actually like a board game out called Blockbuster. If anybody wants to smoke, you will not beat me in Blockbuster.
Oh, bragging already.
I've seen probably over 5,000 movies. I'm a huge movie watcher.
What's your number one? If you're now you're bragging, so I have to call you out. What's your number one movie that's ever been made?
My number one movie. Okay. I'm just going to go with Terminator 2 Judgment Day.
Okay. And now I'm going to put you in a different classification because that's yours. What is the number one movie that's ever been made? Do you understand what I'm saying there? Because a lot of people will fight you to a death about Terminator 2. They listen, like Gone in with the Wind or something is better. But what do you think is the best thing that's ever been made? And you can stick and stay with Terminator 2 if you're going to die on a cross. That's fine.
I'm gonna go with Pulp Fiction.
Touche. I'll agree with you on that one. Nothing against Terminator 2. I liked it. I enjoyed it. But bringing up Pulp Fiction, yeah, that's good. That's really good. Besides the artistry that we've already talked about, do you have any other hidden talents?
Other than that, really no. I'm really good at so I also make streaming videos for my buddy. I make little clips and trailers for him to people to subscribe. So I'm really good at making video. I've actually put together a Coda Brand video, if you've seen it.
I have not, but I will have to check it out. So listen, you're really a nerd because you love doing all this technical, because we get called that. We really do. You love the aspect of streaming and putting stuff together and beats and all of this. You're a nerd as well as I am. So we're in the same class, right?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Can't deny it.
Did you have a passion for this stuff, out of high school, college and stuff like that?
I think the most thing I really loved the most was movies and wrestling, is if I can adapt to it, then you like what you like, and I give everything a chance. So if it's in my ballpark, then I'll see what it's about. I can probably talk about anything with anybody.
That's a good way to be well-rounded. Yeah. All right. Trickle back to wrestling. Toughest question that we ask here on Can Crushers, because some people are like, I don't know what to say. I don't want to make anybody bad. I don't want to get blackballed out of wrestling right off the bat. If you could change anything in professional wrestling, because it's still, and I always say this, maybe that's why I'm going to get blackballed. There's still sometimes that there's carny, or there's still some dirt balls in it, or you got the Good Boys Club, or not enough girls on the shows, stuff like that. What would you change in professional wrestling in 2024?
All right, don't hate me, guys, but I'm not a fan at all of scenery stuff. You're not about to do the hypnotize stuff on me. I am not a huge fan of stuff like that.
So popping right into my head, Alexa Bliss, Bray Wyatt type of stuff, God rest his soul. But, when they would put a trance on you or anything like that, you don't like that?
No, they make it good. So now if you can do it right, then by all means go for it. But I love Orange Cassidy. That is my favorite AEW star right now. So no shade, but I don't know if you've ever seen it, but there's actually one match where he gets rocked to sleep.
Yes.
And yes, and the refs counting really quiet. I'm not into stuff like that at all.
I get it. I really do. Yeah, that wasn't. He puts his thumb in his mouth, and yeah, I'm on the same page. I'm not a huge Danhausen fan like that. I get it. I do.
Yeah, so I like to take the bumps. I like to wrestle. So
When you said scenery, I'm like, wait, you don't like when WWE has a big box of bootios up? You don't like anything like that? But then I'm like, what's wrong with the big box of bootios? Why don't you like that? But I got it then. I got it. What's the best advice that you've gotten kind of behind the curtain in your few years in professional wrestling?
So Brian Breaker, he was telling us, wrestling it's kind of like a movie, it's a story. It's the same thing. So I'm sitting there thinking okay, I can see where I can change my character a little bit, because I was just going to come out to normal music. If you notice, all of my entrances are movie references. So my second entrance, I came out as, I don't know if you've seen Major League, I came out as the Wild Thing, and I had Vaughn's jersey. And I came out and I came out to Wild Thing. And then just my recent match, I came out in a Happy Gilmore jersey, and I came out to Tuesday's Gone.
Oh my God. So, listen, there's millions of movies that you can pull references from. So your entrance will never be the same.
It'll always be different.
That is epic. God, I love that. That is so cool. Kudos to you and Brian for working this through. This is so cool. Unbelievable. Flip side, you have a youngster come up to you saying, "Hey, Billy, I want to get into professional wrestling when I grow up." Maybe he's like 13 years old.
Okay.
What advice are you going to tell that little guy or girl?
I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna be like, well, quitting. The scariest thing about quitting is that it's easy. And I'm gonna say, and if you think about quitting, because it's gonna come up, trust me, I can't act like I haven't thought about it. So if you think about quitting, always remember why you started.
That's anything in life. That's amazing. You just made me reference so much in my life right there in that 30 seconds. I'm like, quitting is the easiest way out. It really is. And you have nothing to show for it then. I love that. I really do. Thank you. Maybe I needed that today. I really did. I'm telling you, when I do podcasts and I record with somebody, I have that like dad moment with everybody. And that's why I like talking to like indie stars, because you're pushing, you're doing this, you're doing that. But all of you are so humble that you're like, you say something on the show and I'm like, wow, it was meant to be that I talked to Billy today, or so on and so forth today. Because if anything, you've just touched me. Quitting is the easiest way. It really is. Just keep pushing through. Remember why you wanted to do it. Awesome. So we kind of touched on it a little bit, that you just pay-per-views, or maybe if there's a special match, but when Telltale comes, like how much, maybe like minutes or hours of wrestling do you watch per week?
I am always watching wrestling, but when I do watch wrestling, I'm always watching something older. Like not too long ago, probably about a week and a half ago, I just finished the entire Reign of Terror of Triple H, which was 2002 all the way to 2005.
And can you enjoy wrestling for what it is, as the marks, and I hate that word, but I continue to use it all the time, the marks that we still are, or are you always trying to find something out of it as well?
Yeah. So what's the crazy thing is, as I'm in the business now, I'm honestly more in love with behind the scenes wrestling than I am with wrestling. I love like the stories behind it, like who put like if I was to meet The Rock or Stone Cold, I would just, if they said you can only have one question, I would just be like, okay, what did y'all talk about before coming out to WrestleMania 17? I just want to know that conversation.
Right. Just reverse yourself back to WrestleMania and be a fly on the wall and just watch what they're doing, right?
Yeah.
This wasn't written down, but if you could talk to just one person that's ever been alive, so they could be passed now or whatever, if you could go to dinner with one person ever, who would it be?
Dinner with one person. Let me think this. Honestly, probably gonna say Denzel Washington.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Why?
That's my favorite actor. It'd be a tough coin flip. It'd either be him or Quentin Tarantino.
Both wonderful. Really, both wonderful. So I'm imagining, to go back to movies again, I'm telling you, Billy, I'm a gnat. I really am. I flop all over the place. What's your favorite Denzel movie, and then, of course, what's your favorite? I imagine your Quentin movie is Pulp Fiction, then, right?
I would have to say so. Yeah. He just, man, I just want to know, like, bro, like, if I was a director, I would literally be just like you. I love your style. It's just so graphic.
Yeah, it really is, and it's so in your face.
Yeah.
Flip side, what's your favorite Denzel movie?
I'm gonna have to go with Training Day.
Ooh, nice. Yeah. We definitely need to hang out. We really do. I think we just watch the movies and play some video games and we'd be fine together. We really would.
That's like, it's his first movie where he's technically a heel, a bad guy. So
yeah,
you always want to see somebody act different. That's why I love when comedians, play serious roles. You get to actually see their talent.
Okay, then let me throw this out there. What's your favorite? Because Adam Sandler's comedian of comedians. What's your favorite Adam Sandler serious movie?
Uncut Gems.
Oh, okay. I like it. We're bouncing all over the place. I understand. 2024 is literally a couple days away. What are your goals for 2024? In professional wrestling, of course. We're going to get back on what the podcast is about.
I want to obviously win a belt. Preferably not a tag title. But
you want to go solos? Mind. Yeah,
for sure. And my main goal is I would love to fight in a title match with me and my cousin.
So you brought up your cousin a lot, okay? And
yeah.
We're bouncing all over the place, and we said maybe we'll talk about him. Release to everybody who your cousin is.
Neo Genesis.
So he's the one that got you into professional wrestling.
Yeah, because I noticed he was in it, and I'm like, how the hell did he find somebody?
Are you throwing him under the bus? Like, this guy can do it, and I can't?
Well, I was like, well, how the hell did he get in the business? Like, I've been looking for years. How the hell did he find somewhere to get in the business? And I talked to him about a year. He's been in it for about a year before I even started. I just like, man, where do you go? And he's like, I go for NCWO. And I'm like, man. And then he's the one who told me about Core. So that's where I went up to Sand Springs.
And then boom, magic happened, right?
Yep.
So if it's you and your cousin going for tag titles, you'd be all right with it?
I wouldn't be mad at that. No, I wouldn't. All right. But I know our chemistry is so good that we could deliver a good singles.
Right. Yeah. So 2024, everybody always, at the end of the year, everybody's like, hey, I want to knock off this person. I want to have a match with this person. I want a match with this person. Friend of the show, okay, that's been on, I don't know, probably way too many times, but we still like him, Malik Mayfield. He's coming back on in 2024, by the way, folks, so be prepared for that, for his nonsense to come back around as well. We love Malik. He puts your name on his list, and I see that first. What do you think of that?
So, I'm prepared for anything. So, whenever he's ready, I'm ready.
Okay, there you go. Malik, you're done. But is there anybody, and I know this, so don't say, I don't know. I know this. Do you have a maybe top 5 or something in and around your area that you want to, we're talking indies right now, that you would love to share the ring with?
Okay.
Don't mention Malik again. He's gotten way too much publicity on this show.
Okay. Man, so I really want to match with Mr. Nasty too.
Okay.
Let's see. I've noticed some stars. I've seen Tommy Dean. Tommy Dean's pretty nice, so I wouldn't mind having a really good match with him. And so I probably wouldn't have, but now So I just had a little in ring time with Derek James, and bruh, this dude whooped my ass on Monday.
And now you're ready for payback.
Oh my god. I've never, okay, so I'm an athlete. I'm not trying to talk myself up, but through football, basketball, and all through high school and stuff, I was never a person that puked. I never puked. When I tell you I was seconds from puking, it was about to happen one day.
See, if you dig enough, these are the stories that you get that you were about ready to puke.
I was exhausted. I had to literally lay down flat for like 15 minutes. I was like not prepared. I was so exhausted.
Was it the intensity of it? Was it that it was just run the whole time, or was it just?
Yeah, man, he's just an athlete, man. He's nice, and I could instantly tell with the lockup. I just knew. I was like, "Fuck, what the fuck did I get myself into?"
Yeah. How about another past guest of the show, Red James?
Yeah, about that guy. I definitely need a rematch with him.
He called me a piece of shit on my own podcast, Billy.
Oh, man. That wannabe Roddy Piper.
Right? Like, come on. You can mock me. You can do whatever. It's all about fun and everything. But he legit called me a piece of shit on the old podcast. I'm like, you want to come back on someday? Please.
Oh, man.
He's a hell of a nice guy, though.
Yeah, he's got a match with Cap, and if Cap doesn't get the job done, I'm going to have to take that damn title from him from Core.
Yeah, I have to put a cap in his ass.
Yeah.
All right, so that's 2024. So let's push it ahead a little bit and say, like, okay, 5 years. You're hovering around your 6 years, 7 year mark in the business, then essentially. What are goals in 5 years?
Me personally, I want my own promotion.
Ooh, prior to being signed or anything?
Yeah, so I know everybody, the goal is WWE, but at the end of the day, family first. I want my kids with me. I want my fiance with me. I want them all with me. So I know when you're in WWE, you're on the road 200 plus days a year. But even if that was the case, they're coming with me. If they make me sign a deal, I'm like, if I come, my kids are coming.
Right.
Wherever I go,
so happy to hear that you're a family man. That's amazing. Biggest smile on this side of the phone right now, just to let you know.
Yeah. I have to calm my kids down because they, when I get hurt in the ring, they're all crying in the audience. I'm like, no, Daddy's fine. Don't worry.
We're going to go back to dad moments. So when you're doing shows and everything, everybody's there. You have a huge, support group and all of that. It really is a family event for you.
Oh yeah, the kids always come. I always make sure they're coming. So I always make sure I'm there like kind of early. I get everybody ready, and like before I even debuted, I was watching wrestling. They're like, "Why are we watching this?" So, so actually, my stepdaughter, we were watching wrestling one day. She didn't want to watch it, and I was like, "Trust me, she's 3 years old," and I show her a match with Undertaker throws Mankind off the Hell in the Cell,
Nice.
and she lost her shit.
I love it. Was that one of her first matches? That's an amazing first match to see if you've never watched wrestling. Watch this. You almost see somebody die.
You got JR in the background. Oh my God, they killed him.
Right.
I was like, yeah, this stuff happens.
Was the fiance a big wrestling fan prior? And does she deal with your shenanigans all the time?
Okay, she can say she's not a fan, but at the end of the day, everybody knows a wrestler. Like, she's like, well, I like Rey Mysterio. I'm like, all right, then. You know wrestling. You like wrestling.
Right.
No matter what. Everybody can say what they want. Everybody loves wrestling.
I forgot this about 45 minutes ago. you tell, dad, family, and everything that you're getting in professional wrestling. How's that go over?
It's fairly kind of simple, Neo's in it, and I actually have another cousin. He wrestles down at RPW down in Pensacola. He goes by Chris Justice.
We'll have to get him on the show then too, since we have the whole family on that. No.
Yeah, so I'm working to get down there someday.
So everybody was fine with it. They're like, "Yep, this is what my boys in general are going to do. They're going to be professional wrestlers."
Oh, yeah. And I kept it a secret. So I trained for about 6 months before I revealed it to everybody that I was wrestling.
And they were like, "Yeah, okay, no doubt, we knew." Yeah.
And then all my friends are like, "Yeah, we tell everybody like we always knew you'd be good at wrestling." They're like, I had some hit me up and like, "I'm glad you're finally wrestling," because like back when we were wrestling on the trampoline, like we always thought you were really hurt. You were the best one to do all the sells and all that stuff.
So you learned from Shawn Michaels his overselling.
Yeah, honestly. So the people I watch is for selling is Shawn Michaels and The Rock.
Yeah, two of the best.
I love the way Shawn sells his fatigue. Like you can be like, "Bro, this dude's tired."
Yeah, he leaves the ring and he goes runs a marathon then afterwards to cool down. He's so damn good. He really is.
Yeah. It's like when he's like getting up and stuff, you're like, "Bro, I'm tired watching him." Like I can tell he's exhausted the way how good he sells his fatigue.
Yeah. Imagine being a fat 46-year-old garbage man. Like, man, this guy is going for an hour. I'm sweating watching a pay-per-view. Yeah. So you brought up about owning a organization sometime. Is that something that's in the works now, or is it something that you're like, okay, that is definitely 5-10 years down the line or something like that?
I want to be like a little older. I want to be like probably late 30s. I want to get another young crew started too. I want to bring it closer because it's not easy. A lot of stuff's like out of our area for training. So I want to kind of, get Oklahoma on the map.
Right. Get established yourself. I'm not knocking you, but get a name in and around your area and then nationally then essentially too, because you're willing to travel, right? As long as the kids and the family can come to get a name out, right?
Yeah.
Is there some place in like 2024 that you'd like to check off? Say, I'm just going to throw this out there because we're in Pennsylvania. Hey, I'd love to go to Pennsylvania and wrestle.
Oh, okay.
I'm not saying you don't have to name a company or anything, but are there states that you'd like to knock off your list essentially?
Oh, of course. I'm going to have to hit, Colorado, California. I would love to. And then honestly, I've never been on the East Coast really, so I wouldn't mind hitting the East Coast.
By the way, it's about a 16-hour drive, just to let you know, wife and kids. So either give them some, I don't know, some sedative, or be prepared for a hell of a ride. Again, I'm joking. Stop looking at people. Yeah. But yeah, always welcome. Always, I'll make something happen. Get over here, wrestle, bring the family. I'd love to see you. All right.
Oh, yeah.
So this is a fun question. This is always one of my last before I give you the to-dos and sell merch and everything. Your dream match. Who, where is it going to happen, and what stipulation?
With me or two?
With you. With you.
Oh, with me. A dream match. Let's see. Man, so I'm gonna go ahead and say right now, since I'm kind of into the new stuff, I would, obviously, who else? I would love to go one-on-one with Roman Reigns.
Okay. I already thought I pictured you saying The Rock, but okay.
Oh, I would love to face The Rock, but like right now, Roman Reigns. if it were me, this dude would hold the belt for another 2 years. If it were up to me.
Are you a big
Now,
fan of the Bloodline? We're jumping all over the place right now. We'll get back to the dream match, but are you a big fan of the Bloodline whole storyline?
Yes. I mean, I'm not gonna. I got kind of confused when Jimmy betrayed at SummerSlam. I was just like, okay, what is happening now? What are y'all doing?
Right.
I was like, what's going on? You know, I'm just now a lot of my buddies, they hate heels. So I'm just like, me, I love heels. That's my thing. Because me personally, 1999 Rock is the greatest heel of all time.
Yeah.
And I love heels. And then the Roman, he just carries it so well, you know. I know it pisses everybody off when he wins and he's just like, acknowledge me.
Yeah, and wins so crappily too, with so much interference. The first year and a half of the Bloodline, I'm like, ugh, I wasn't invested. And then everything else transitioned. I'm like, this is the greatest story in professional wrestling going right now. And there's so much meat on the bones yet that, listen, if Cody doesn't win at Mania, people are going to lose their shit, which I think would be more money for the WWE.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so go back to you. You want to fight Roman Reigns. What type of match and where would you like to have it at?
I would love to do it, you know, obviously, me personally, I wouldn't do it at WrestleMania. Too predictable.
Right.
I would probably do it at SummerSlam, which is the second biggest, but, you know, a slightly less predictable. An Iron Man match, you know, he's still undefeated, hasn't been pinned. I would say the very first 10 minutes, he gets a fall on me. And after that, he doesn't get a single fall. I get one last finisher on him when the countdown's happening. You know, 10 seconds left. I crawl, get a pin. The crowd goes nuts because I got a pin. Timer ends. Now we got to go in overtime.
Sudden death, or is it timed overtime?
Sudden death.
Okay.
And then I would get as close as possible, but I would probably still put him over. Just that little bit of hope of me getting that pinfall with the last 10 seconds. I know the crowd would pop.
You don't even want to win your dream match. That's unbelievable. I love it. You've sold me. Tell me how much I have to sell you. I have to pay you for merch and 8x10s and everything, because I'm waving your flag up here now. This is unbelievable how you're a genius about it. I understand why you want to own your own company, because you just sold me a storyline that I can't wait to see in 2 years. And you've pissed off the rest of the WWE universe, because he's now beaten Cody again. I'm sure Seth is going to be in there, and Gunther, and you can lay 4 or 5 other people, but he's waiting for you, and he still wins. Yes. Yep. Take my damn money.
So I'm still working on merch right now, but what I'm gonna start doing is so I wear a headband, I'm gonna start doing headbands. I wear glasses, so if you're a lucky fan, one lucky kid will get a pair of glasses from me straight off from when I entered the match. So if you're in the front row, be prepared. You might get some glasses.
A la Bret Hart. I love that.
Yep.
So tell everybody your socials and your Twitch, and then do you have any shows upcoming in the next month that they can see you at, or you kind of, I understand, especially indie wrestling, at least around our neck of the woods, end of December to end of January, there's kind of a buffer that it's kind of like an off season, because it's just at the holidays. Listen, you can't drain your fans because they've just paid for Christmas and everything. So
yeah. So January 5th, I will be at Core for the anniversary show, and I will be in the Tag Team Rumble with Nathan Estrada.
Okay. That's the only thing planned so far? Nothing farther down?
Yeah, and January 13th, I will be at Native American Wrestling in Chewy.
Nice. Okay. How about your socials and Twitch and stuff, so you can get some more followers and watch, especially me, so I can watch you play Mortal Kombat?
Cool. Follow me on Instagram. It's official Billie the Kiid. Kid has 2 eyes. And on Twitch, you can get me at Billy Goat Kush. Kush with a K.
Get it, yeah. Did I forget anything? Is there anything you wanna chat about that I forgot to bring up or anything?
Not really. Just know this. I'm gonna get some more experience in this 2024. I'm gonna try to have an OMG moment in every single match.
Yeah, listen to this. Listen to this guy. Predictions, bold predictions that he's gonna make happen. Billy, this has been a blast. Thank you for coming on, buddy.
Oh, no problem. Thanks for having me.
Hey everyone, this is Shelby Waters. You're listening to Can Crushers. Come hang out with us and let's have some fun.
Ladies and gentlemen, Billy the Kiid, how about that? What an amazing episode. I told you in the intro it was a good episode. I really did. Dad gets him involved with wrestling, and the comparisons were good. You know, the Public Enemy one might have caught him off. Definitely Dudley's, though. I should have paid more attention to the Dudleys, but a movie buff, maybe, just maybe in 2024, we'll have to have Billy back on to chat, just have a wrestling movie episode. Get Sir Michael Jenks involved into this one as well. Just talk wrestling movies and see if Billy can stump us, which clearly he'll be able to beat me, but Jenks is pretty good at this. Family first. That's what I always love. I loved how he said that right off the bat. You know, listen, 350 days on, by the way, if you've never watched that movie with Evan Ginsberg, listen to our podcast with him first about it, and then The Wrestler as well, and then go watch 350 days. But back to Billy. 350 days on the road, he understands. Unless WWE, AEW impacted it is not going to bring the family along, he's content. But I love the fact that he has a new era upon himself at some point of opening a wrestling organization. Everybody likes that new era that they want to have an organization opened. 2024 is going to be a new era for a lot of people, which is really cool, me included. Billy, thank you again for coming on. It was a blast. We'll talk to you here in the near future. Happy New Year's, everyone. Hope everybody had an amazing Christmas. Hope everybody has a wonderful New Year's. Be safe out there. And don't forget, you still have time to get involved in the Crushies. Head over to our Facebook to see the categories or listen to Saturday's episode, and you'll know the categories. Get your phone calls in, get your texts in, get your DMs. Nobody's texting me. Or all that. You guys know what I'm talking about. All right, everybody. Have a wonderful, wonderful night. Remember, just because you're trash doesn't mean you can't do great things. It's called a garbage can, not a garbage cannot. Make sure you tell your loved ones you love them, because you never know.